Hey guys, we're getting screwed in the new economy, right? I'll show you some data. Actually, in the old economy, we were doing great. I mean, you've probably heard the data before. I mean, it's sort of like 70%, 77 cents of every dollar. I'm sorry. In the old economy, women made an average of 77 cents for every dollar a man made. So, we were doing better, right? And also in getting venture capital to start businesses. Now listen to this. Only 8% of venture-backed firms were by women, owners, CEOs. So women only got like 8% of the capital, and men got all the rest, right? Okay, even on the board of Fortune 500 companies, we rocked, man. Women only had 17% of the seats on all the Fortune 500 companies. Yeah. And actually, the women own only 30% of all companies. So, we're rocking out there. But that's old economy now. What's happened now, the internet came to town, and women are beating us to a pulp. That's right. Going and getting free money on the internet, women are outperforming us. That's right. Even in high-tech industries. Actually, there's a big study done on two professors, one from NYU, another from University of Pennsylvania. And they surveyed one of the crowdfunding sites, the big one, Kickstarter, on 1,200 people who got money there, okay, and got at least $5,000 or more. Well, in the high-tech industry, listen to this, 65% of the women met their goals, and only 30% of the men met their goals. So women, like 2 to 1, are doing better. So sure, I'd rather go with a woman, right, to start a business, because they have a twice as much chance of getting the money than some guy starting a business. See, this is what's happening on the internet. I feel it's democratizing everything. That old school stuff isn't going to work on the internet. It's for everybody. Actually, in all programs, that are in it. Now, here's a client. This is not only for high-tech industry that women are doing. They're doing it, well, on everything. The programs, like if they're raising money for a film, they're more successful than men. If they're raising money for a fashion business, they're more successful than men. Or even games. That's right, games. You think, that's a guy stuff. No, they're more successful than men. Children's books publishing. So overall, women are doing better raising money than men. And that's on Kickstarter. Now, on Indiegogo, another one of the big sites, man, they even show women are doing better. Where the heck is my note on that? Where 61% are more likely, women are 61% more likely to reach their goal than a man is. See, to me, that's what's great about the internet. There's no official gatekeepers and old school stuff and guys with cigars and stuff like that. Man, it's democratizing everything, and that's why I think we're going to have a rude awakening, guys, on all this. So actually, you want to see. Like getting money for a business, we have a video on Kickstarter, 17 reasons why you shouldn't get a grant. You should use these crowdfunding source, and there's a link, and if it's not here, it'll be in the notes section of this source. So it's the way of the future, and more people are going to be playing, and it doesn't matter your background, so you just go out and do it. Well, I bet you didn't know that the government will give you money for turning in a bad investment advisor. Somebody's messing around with, selling stock and bonds and stuff like that. And this is a new program remember Dodd-Frank was a piece of legislation that they put into effect after the Wall Street collapse. Well, part of that is a whistleblower program, and that means that crime now does pay for the average person, because if you find somebody like that screwing around and not following the rules of the Securities and Exchange Commission, you can get literally millions of dollars. Actually, they have a pot of money now over $450 million to give out. And they just started this about 2 years ago. $450 million. That's almost $500 million they're giving out. And this past year, they only gave out like $14 million. Man. And the people, listen, there's a guy who got, just in July this year, a couple of weeks ago, they gave out $400,000 to somebody, turned somebody in. And you do it anonymously and things like that. And then there's 3 people who got a whole bunch of awards. See, what you get is anywhere between 10% of what they fine that was, what the SEC fines them, to 30%. So that means, if they're finding these fat cats, like $1 million, you can get up to $330,000 yourself. Well, here back in June, 2 whistleblowers got $675,000. Now, these are not government employees. These are people here. Some investment advisor tells you about some kind of shady deal or whatever. Hey, maybe that's a problem. And there's a place to go, to find out if that is. And then if they investigate and find that, hey, these are bad guys, they give you a piece of the money. Now, actually, there's a video on YouTube that explains this. The head of the Securities Exchange whistleblower program, it has a great video. I'll put the link in the video or down in the description too, to watch this. But if you just on YouTube, if you put in SEC for Securities Exchange Commission and whistleblower, you'll see the head of the Securities Exchange Commission telling you. It's a minute or two that will tell you the steps involved and and how you can apply for the money. Really, $400 million. They have this sock of money to give out. See? You didn't know that crime does pay, did you? Well, this video you're going to watch now, I think is just perfect for how we all should live our lives. I mean, I think the ideal life is contributing to society as much as you can, right? But we all have to live, we all have to eat, we all have to have clothes on our back and stuff like that, So we need money, somehow to do that. And most people that want to do that kind of work, what they do is they go and beg, become a nonprofit organization, like NPR, begging for money all the time. Well, here is a religious group that is poverty. They take a vow of poverty, so they have no money. But they're using capitalism, just like the Girl Scouts use capitalism and sell you cookies, right? So they can do the good work that they want to do. Well, here's monks in an abbey that are using capitalism. And listen to the kind of capitalism they're using to do their good works. Because see, the monks, what they do, they help nonprofits and they take care of the underprivileged and things like that. But they need money to do that, right? So they're using capitalism. And the way they're using capitalism is making beer. That's right. So they're beer-making monks. And they got this wonderful brand, of making beer. And what a life. So you use capitalism to get the income you need in order to do good. Because if the monks don't get money somewhere, so instead of begging and passing the hat and all that kind of stuff, and they're providing something that the society will pay for, good beer. And they get money from that to do their good works, So that's all of us. I mean, to me, the ideal life is contributing. You're contributing something to society. But a lot of times that contribution isn't, worthy of getting paid. And people don't pay for that or something. So what you have to do, or the people you want to help don't have money to pay. So you have to survive somehow in a capitalist society that we live in to be able to continue doing that work. And that's what's cool. So they found out how to do it. They found how to take something that you can provide that people will pay for to give you the money to keep in business, whatever it costs, to help people the way you want to. Because, to me, the biggest joy in life is doing that. Providing something, helping somebody else. Man, what's better? And I still think that's selfish. If you're helping somebody else, that feels so good. So that's selfish, right? Because you're doing something that feels so good. But the problem is, we have to eat to do that. And this is a way to do it. You use the system, whether it's capitalism or whatever, to provide you the income you need to do it. And these monks, the most holy people on the planet probably, they believe in it too. So what's wrong with capitalism? As long as they use it well, right? So watch how they did it, right? You know what? I mean, they even got money. They raise money and all this kind of stuff. To do it, they don't have a penny to speak of. They don't. They take them out property, so they got money for their brewery. So why don't you watch? Well, Brother Isaac with the Spencer Brewery, but more importantly, you're with St. Joseph's Abbey, and you're Travis Monk. Became an entrepreneur. You guys have started this brewery, to really finance your good works and yourself. I mean, you're the ultimate entrepreneur, doing good and making money. But you're making money so you can do more good, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Well, then, I mean, you had a little business earlier just doing jams and jellies, right, for a while, and that supported you guys.
Right. So, we did that. We've been doing that for 60 years.
Wow. 60 years of jams and jellies, and now who got the beer bug in them? I mean, that's like a yuppie in New York City or something, not a Trappist monk, or about beer.
So, okay, so, back in the 70s, there was the first wave of the craft beer movement, and one of the brothers, who was a student at that time, got very interested in beer, learned about Trappist monks in Belgium brewing some brewing world-class beers. So when he joined the monastery some years later, he came with the idea that monks ought to be brewing beer even in Spencer, Massachusetts. It's just that it took 20 years for his idea to get some traction with us.
Well, but you really handled it like an entrepreneur. I mean, you did a business plan, you worked on the idea, you went around to the other breweries in Europe and found out how this is really done and put together something, and then went to a normal bank even to get money, right? You went to a normal bank. Yeah. Right. I mean, you did sit home and pray for the money, right? You had to go out and...
Well, we did both. We went to the bank and we said prayers that they would be...
But it's wonderful. The beer now is getting wonderful reviews. I mean, and watching your video on your website, I think is so instructional, really for all of us. I mean, to see how peaceful you guys live. I mean, I think that's what we miss in normal society. We run around mindlessly and have no idea what the hell we're doing every day, but we're doing it fast. That's the important thing, as long as we do it all fast, even though it's the wrong thing, right? And to get a feel through your video how everything you do during the day seems so mindful, and you can contribute so much more, it seems, into society by being mindful. Look at, you're going to make great beer for all of us.
So we hope some of the peace of the place is in the beer.
Yeah.
And with the beer, I don't want to overdo it, but in some way, you get with the whole experience of sharing the beer with a significant other person, that, it is an experience that builds relationship and there's some peace and harmony that is augmented by sharing this delicious beverage.
Well, but it's not only that. I mean, like anything. I mean, if I put my heart into something, that's going to be better. If I'm working just for, the dollar for the landlord or whatever, who knows how much heart is there, and then that sort of loses part of your life, I think, of having that connection that you're really involved in something. So everyone making that beer, man, are monks. They're living for this. They're going to do it for the rest of their life. Right there in their heart is so much in it like nowhere else.
Yeah, that's true. One of the reasons that we're doing this is that many people who visit the monastery in person. So you can visit on the video like yourself, or you can visit in person. And they have an experience of peace.
I see.
And so for us, the monastery has this gift. It's part of the place. And we live here, and it's our turn to receive it, to hold it, and to hand it on. So by getting into this little business project, we're hoping that we're sufficiently successful that the monastic life can continue here for a long time, and that the very interesting and diverse kinds of people and groups of people who visit here, the monastery will continue to be there as this kind of little anchor in a very busy world where they say, here's here's my spiritual base, or here's my home base where I can go or mentally go or digitally visit, and it renews that sense of peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it seems to me, I mean, I grew up Catholic, but it seems like you're really a-religious. I mean, it seems more, I mean, it doesn't, you're above an organized religion, it seems to me, at least in my mind. You know, I mean, you're Christian, obviously, but it doesn't matter, right? I mean,
for us, see, we would see ourselves as like, you know, we're at the basement level. You know, that the ground, the various manifestations of organized religion, because, you know, Trappist monastery, you know, we're a minority within the church, but we're really we're a foundational sort of level.
That's what I sort of feel.
And we're at ease with all of that. We realize that it's a big church, and it's a very diverse group of people that are members in all sorts of different ways. Extended, former, tenuous, moving.
But you have like 70 people living in the monastery. Is that how many?
Yeah, we have 62 members right now.
62 members, and you also, I mean, you're growing all the, you know, ingredients for your beer right on site too, aren't you?
So, well, we two ingredients are on site. So one, we have we drilled a new well for this brewery.
Oh.
So there's we're
local water.
So we're sitting, the water is really important. You know, beer is primarily water. So
I see it a lot. Yeah.
So 18,000 years ago, there was the glacier here, and it created a big aquifer under us.
Wow.
So we're drawing on that water for the beer. So that's a primary ingredient. And then, as an experiment, we do have an experimental barley field, a 10-acre barley field. We're working with the University of Massachusetts to try to learn how to grow brewing quality barley here.
Wow.
So we're in process. Plus, we need more ingredients than what we can grow. So we buy
I understand. Right. But it's just wonderful. I think you're showing the rest of us really how you can use capitalism to do good works, because you're really into serving the community and doing good works through other nonprofit organizations or people that really need help, and that's what you're besides and you know, sustaining yourself so you're not a burden on society. I mean, see, that's a perfect life. I mean, using capitalism, feeding yourself, and helping others. What could be better? And doing it with beer. So to find out, I mean, you're mostly in the Northeast. You just started a few months ago, New England states. But if you go to spencerbrewery.com, you could find out, you know, where or more. You could contact us there, the link there to find out, you know, when it's coming to a pub near you soon or where it is.
So on the website, to get more information about where to get it, go to the link that says hello Barry at spencerbrewery.com. That's the key.
Great. And also to find out about the Abbey, if I'm interested in living a wonderful life like this. It sounds like vacation every day to me, but but you have information about the Abbey, St. Joseph's Abbey, right, on the website also. And there's
on the website, there's a link to St. Joseph's Abbey, and the Abbey has a website, and you can find out a lot about.
Or come up and visit.
Come and visit.
Well, Brother Isaac, you've been a treat, and thank you so much, and sharing yourself with others so we could understand better how wonderful a life you guys lead, and not keep it all to yourself now, at least sharing it with your beer.
Okay, well, Matthew, thank you for the invitation, and thank you to all your listeners, and we're grateful to all the people who try this beer and like it and tell other people about it.
Boy, you're learning marketing very well, Isaac. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Well, now here's a website that's going to put the SBA out of business. You know, the SBA, the Small Business Administration. We all heard of SBA loans. Well, this website is really going to make it more community oriented, so local businesses now don't have to go to the SBA loan so they help finance your business or whatever you need. No, the community does it, because you know the kind of businesses you want in your community. So what this website is having the community lend the money, so you don't have to go through Congress and then go through the Small Business Administration, go through all that kind of stuff. You go on this website, and the people in the community who think, hey, that's a good business to have. We need a coffee shop here. We need a vegan bakery, or we need a fish and bait shop, where we live, or whatever it is. These kind of small businesses. So if everyone helps lend the person money to get a business, you get the money back. You get the business, and you don't have all this overhead of politicians and bureaucracy and all that kind of stuff, to get these things to happen, for communities to grow. So this way the community can grow itself by the people voting with their pocketbook. Actually, it's just their lending money. They get the money back. And this business has been around for a while already, and they have probably a better failure rate than the Small Business Administration, because it's people involving people. You get money from the SBA, it's some bank, giving the cash, the SBA guarantees, and everybody's playing with somebody else's money. Now, when you're getting money, like from your brother-in-law or whatever it is, you got to see him in church Sunday, right? You're a little more motivated to make the payments on time. And what has happened now, because of the internet, it makes all that processing easier. So now, if the community want to get together and do something like that, hey, we need a store here and the guy needs 10 grand to do it, so let's all chip in, we'll get our money back as part of the profits and all that kind of stuff. It can happen, but it's all taken care of on this platform, who charges next to nothing to make it happen. This is what's going on with the financial industry. It's the fat cats on Wall Street that run everything, and everybody gets money from these guys, and they don't care about them, so they don't care if they pay the money back or not. But here it's local. And that's why everybody talks about, the community, the internet is making people less social. Well, I think there's an argument that's making people more social. How can I lend my, local entrepreneur money directly instead of going through all these middlemen, to get the money to them? It's what's happening in our society. There's going to be more and more that way. And then there's going to be investments. When the Jobs Act, that's a bill that passed 2 years ago. The Securities and Exchange Commission hasn't got the final rules out for us to invest now as partners, not lending, but partners. So watch this. This is what's coming. Well, it's already here. Watch. Well, Casey Dillaway of Community Source Capital, and my earplug's falling out. Oh my goodness. But more importantly, man, Community Source Capital, to me, is the epitome of what we should be doing in the country to support small businesses. No, I really believe it. Because you're really providing loans to small businesses who can't get it in normal traditional places, but it's coming from their community. Instead of having some fat cat with a cigar we joked about earlier in New York trying to get a loan from them, no, it's people in the community chipping $50 a piece, right? And get a loan for these people, and you have hundreds of people doing this already, and it's just a perfect thing for your community anywhere in the country, right? And you're in about a half a dozen states now and growing if you have people interested, and it's just wonderful. So what made you do this, or why did you see such a need?
Well, we were both compelled by the need for small businesses to get different types of capital, and then individuals wanting to put money to work in their community, which is totally a hard thing to do often. And there needed to be a system that connected these two things. And that's why we created a way for people to lend small amounts of money to businesses they know.
So in other words, if I'm a local coffee shop, in the neighborhood, and man, I want a good espresso machine, and I need 10 grand for this, big Mahuna espresso machine, that I could go on your site and you guys help me through the whole thing, right? Kind of thing, to raise this $10,000. But I'm getting it from people in my community, right? It's not from people all over the world. I guess I can, but it's mostly people in the community. So to me, my coffee shop really has an excuse to market to the community, doesn't it? It
Yeah,
gives
it's
it,
a really good way to bring your community into the story of your business. They're
yeah.
in there the following month looking for the espresso machine, ordering a latte.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could have the latte of the day is brought to you by, and one of your supporters.
Yes. Yes.
That would be a cool little idea. You get to have your name on the latte of the day, is brought to you by, or even the local car company, or even other local businesses, in your community. You can name stuff after them, for the day. No, it's great, and it's a way to get the community involved, because I don't want to help Starbucks, because I know, most of that money's going to Seattle, where you are, right?
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah.
So I want to help those two ladies down the street who want to start the coffee shop and need that espresso machine. So I give them $50 and I get my $50 back.
Yeah, we've had a really good success rate with people getting paid back. And, people are putting $50 in and getting paid $50 back. And
Wow.
that doesn't mean that it's a way to diversify your 401k, but it's certainly a nice way of keeping money in the system. And some people actually get repaid and then reloan it to another business.
Wow. So
that's a really fun way of, finding out about new businesses or building a, relatively small portfolio of ways that you've put money to work for people in your community.
Well, instead of that, right? I mean, unusual businesses. I mean, I wonder how a coffee shop works. Well, now I'm an owner, right? I led to this guy, so I can find out how a coffee shop works, and I find out all the insides on something like that. I mean, and plus, you become attached to your community, which is a nice feeling.
Yeah.
To me, instead of the barista at Starbucks who, is probably a college kid from the next town,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll never meet the owner. And this brings the community together. So not only are you helping, the investor because they get their money back, the small business because they're growing with that money. But the community, I mean, you're getting community-supported businesses. And see, to me, that's what our country is about. It's sort of like, the schools are locally run. They're not, everybody hates them run by the government in Washington, so they're locally run, yeah. So the more we get locally run businesses, instead of these big chains, we'll get stuff we really want.
Yeah, we're really small. We've only done about $400,000 in loans for 25 businesses from about 2,500 lenders. But in Seattle, I mean, we get to work all over the country because we have an online platform that lets us do that. We still, talk to every single customer we've had, every borrower.
Wow.
But in Seattle, we've, I think, put together about 200,000 in loans. So we, we do most of our work where we live, and that's still a small amount of money. But if you add another zero or another 2 zeros on the end of it, then you can really see how a robust community lending system could have a totally different.
Well, right. I mean, just think of our local where I live is sort of it's a little community, a suburb, Washington D.C., and have a $2 million development plan is huge. Yeah, I mean that would be 50 to 100 jobs at least. And so if you're able to create that in a community, man, that's what is all about, is creating jobs. So what you're doing is having, instead of going to the government, getting the town council to pass legislation to do the $2 million or whatever it is for community development, you're getting it direct from the community, and they say what it should be used for.
Yeah, and we never really direct the money to different businesses. It's just about people putting money to work for businesses they know, and in that sense, it's entirely social, and people don't lend money to businesses they don't like.
Exactly, right. So that's me. So instead of hoping my elected representative is going to use the money right way, no, I want my $50. Instead of paying the taxes, I'll pay it right here and give it to those two ladies to get the espresso machine, because they're going to hire somebody else, and we're going to grow the community that way. So you're really in the economic development business. You're not you're not lending money.
Well, we've started working closer with economic development offices in Seattle. We've been working on a partnership with them, and it is a combination of both, the different types of technology and just a different view on the way that money could move around in communities, and it's exciting to everyone we're working with.
Well, I would think because an old, the city council will never think of, oh, let's go crowdfunding, get the money instead of raising taxes, right? It's easier for them to try to raise taxes. They wouldn't know how to do what you're doing. So you're showing them, another way to do all this without having to raise taxes. And the people who really want it are going to contribute to it. That's what's so neat about it. Yeah. Well, wow. So when are you going to run for president?
Do you think that would ever be a good idea?
I would never want the job. It sounds dreadful.
I like being a small business.
But now this is wonderful, Casey, and I think what you're doing is really on the forefront of what's happening in our country, and it should, and it's only young people like you who are able to see that opportunity. Old people like me are trying to make old stuff work again, and it won't. And we need young people like you to take these new ideas and shove it down our throat, whether we like it or not, just like their parents used to do to you. You have to do it to us.
You might be interested to hear that, I'm the youngest person on our team, but our team spans the age ranges of 20-something to 50-something. So we have a whole, we're not a bunch of young men in a Silicon Valley startup. We're a pretty diverse group of people working on this concept.
Oh, that's wonderful, because that's what really takes, it takes help from everybody to get something done, and that's what you're doing, and that's what you're doing with your financing locally, taking the entire community to get something done in the community, and you're doing it in an entrepreneur way, and using capitalism to provide social good, right?
How great!
Well, thank you, Casey. It's community-sourcedcapital.com. That's community, SOURCED, capital, CAPITAL.com. Well, Casey, you're a delight. Thanks for doing this work, and I'll see you when you have 5,000 people out there doing this stuff all over the world, okay?
Okay, thanks. Looking forward to it.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, have you heard of Laundry Love yet? Well, if you haven't, you're going too soon, because it's a great idea. And really it shows how just one individual can make a very important contribution to our society with no money at all. That's right, this fella you're going to meet now started this thing called Laundry Love. And it's all because of the internet. That's all, because of hardly nothing to get this idea off the ground. And what it does is takes a lot of people that are very low income don't even have money to wash their clothes now. So he started this thing called Laundry Love, and he put it together. It's all ideas, in his head. So he finds a laundromat that says, "Hey, give me your machines for free, like 2-3 hours during the week, or what? I think he does like once a month or once a week or whatever. That I could bring people who really can't afford it to come and wash their clothes." Wow. What a service to people that are really so low in income that having $5 to do a family wash is a lot of money. And see, the laundromat gets publicity, man. So if you hook up, like if you get your local Lions Club or Women's Club or a high school club or something like that, a bunch of people that goes around the community to explain the program to people and find the laundromat to work with and work with the media and everything. What a wonderful local public service. See? And that's what's cool. Now, the fellow who's organized it, these things are popping up all over the country already. He's got a couple dozen of them already now that are around the country. He says he does like 450,000 loads of laundry already. 450,000. So that's how many people. And he explains in the video how it came about. How he ran into this homeless guy, and he was helping people on the street who were having trouble. And he asked him, "Hey, what's the one thing that maybe we could help you with?" He said, "Boy, if I had clean clothes, maybe people would treat me better." And that's true in our society, in these funny little things that we're so prejudiced about. So like dirty clothes. So just like helping him, found out how he could put something together that is unusual. So instead of giving people money every week for their clothes, you find a laundromat who wants to do something good for the community. You find people who want to get organized to help do something good for the community. So it's all organizing resources that are already there. They're already available to use in the community to solve problems, but you're the thinking person, right? That puts it all together. And that's what's so neat. So when you watch this, let it burn in your mind, hey, what little thing can I do for my community like this that costs nothing and helps a lot of people? Watch. Well, Greg Russinger, and you're with, God, a neat place called just4one.org, and you got one of the neatest things that people could use all over the country to help their neighborhood, and it's called Laundry Love, man.
Yes.
So really, it's really, your nonprofit organization can help local communities, help people in their community with this Laundry Love program. So how does this sucker work? How do we use this?
Yeah, well, first off, I would love to just have you do that every single time I speak about it, because that just the passion is everything we need as it relates to this effort. So I should have recorded that. Anyway.
We did.
Yeah, true. So Laundry Love, it is a beautiful open source effort to really seek to come alongside the under-resourced individuals and families in every city, town, and neighborhood.
Now, unresourced, you call them people with not a lot of money. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Those that are experiencing poverty-like conditions, those that have obviously lost employment and are just struggling just to get by. So that's what we seek to do. And we've created Laundry Love. It was created about 12 years ago, and from a beautiful human being. His name was Eric, but he went by the name of T-Bone. There's a group of us in Ventura, California, that were just sharing life with him. We asked a very simple question: hey, what would it look like for us to come alongside you? And he just gave this very, very intriguing response. He just said, if I had clean clothes, I think people would treat me as a human being.
Wow.
And that simple statement, I think, caused there to be a deep interruption in myself and others. And so what it is that we literally work and partner with local laundromats around the U.S.
Wow.
And groups of people go in and they begin to create opportunity for those that are struggling, those that are experiencing poverty-like situations, and they help wash their bed, their clothing, and so they don't have to feel the fiscal weight of that, and they can just use that money that they save there towards other things like food or school and education for children or medical situations, whatever it might be. So,
but you've been doing, you have like 20, 30 places all around the country on your website, on just4one.com. You have a little map, you could find out where they are locally. But more importantly, it seems like this is a wonderful thing to get to know each other in a community, more than just doing something, a donation kind of thing. Man, you're really helping people one-on-one. They have a place to go, a place to meet. You can meet them. And it must be great for the laundromat, too.
Yeah.
They get more publicity than they'll ever get in the rest of their life.
Yeah, literally, it is. You're right, Matthew. It's a win-win. You think about it. There's the laundromat owner gets to be known as, I'm actually a socially conscious business locally. I receive obviously all of the fiscal benefits as a laundromat owner. And then also, we've had laundromat owners that are actually contacting us because they hear about the story and go, hey, we have.
Man, if I had a laundromat, I'd want, hey, because I'm going to get written up in the paper when I have this, right?
Seriously. There's actually some laundromat owners that have literally set apart certain washers, and they actually allow them to be either they change the cost on those ones, or they give it for free for these groups that come in to help their neighbors wash their clothes.
So basically, you have like a party once a week or once a month or whatever. You come in for a few hours, and everybody gets to wash their stuff for free, right?
Yeah, it feels the environments. Think about it. It's a neutral space. There's a laundromat in every environment. It's what people call third spaces, right? Third places, and I think it's a safe place. And literally, what else can you do but hang out with each other? You got 2 hours.
Right, 2 hours, and you start talking. And
so let's recreate the whole space to be this lively, neighborly type of experience where there's this sharing that takes place.
Right. So instead of gathering cans of beans for the local shelter or something, man, this is real stuff that people really need that no one else is providing. and it's cool. I mean, laundry love, what can be cooler than that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think the beautiful thing is it's this human exchange, right?
Yeah.
It's not there's something I can see the way we view this thing. Not is like, listen, I can do something for you, and I can do something to you. But man, when I do something with you, it changes the whole dynamic because then I'm investing myself. I'm not just investing my can of food. I'm not just investing my dollar bill. I'm investing myself. I'm opening myself up to another human story. Gosh, and there's tremendous value in that. For me, is the one that might be the group that's hosting it, as well as the one that's receiving the care. I think it becomes this environment of equality, and I think that's just this beautiful gift that Laundry Love gets to provide.
Well, I mean, what I see too, I mean, where we live in Maryland, everyone has to do public service, So, I mean, this is a great thing for a bunch of high school kids, to go to the local laundry. They're going to do it. And then they get to hang out with these people, for a couple hours a week or month or whatever it is to really learn about that experience. And then they got something to do their college essay about.
No, seriously. I mean, but you're right. And the beautiful thing is, like, groups around the U.S., right? I mean, there are kids that serve, there are young people that participate, and even inside, literally, we get the opportunity of educating children inside the laundromat because we tutor families with children.
I see.
And so it's just one of those things that. It just becomes this when you get inside the human story and you learn about the other. What comes out of that is that laundry is just the beginning, but then it becomes, well, let's see if we can help you with this, or we find the assets of the individual and find the gifts that they bring to the table, and then we work to figure out, could there be job placements or housing opportunities or whatever it might be. It becomes this hub of relief, and it's this beautiful space.
But I think besides that, it's from their side, as T-Bone said, your fellow that started this with you, he said how people accept him if he had his clean clothes. But I mean, from somebody who lives normally like me, I mean, I can't even conceive of that phrase, And so to be with somebody in the laundromat for a couple hours, that you would start to understand what that really means, in no other way.
I agree. And you think about it, I mean, we all go to box stores or just local grocery stores, and we have an aisle full of everything that makes us smell clean, right? So we don't, in the West, we don't even consider that being an issue. But when we've partnered with like United Way and other entities, they would tell us, even social workers, they would say to us, listen, this is such an important initiative, and the reason is because when children don't have the opportunity of cleaning their clothes, especially those elementary, junior high, they get teased, they get bullied, and they would rather not participate in school because of the teasing and bullying, because they're wearing the same clothes that have been unwashed. So this actually relieves emotional weight for children, which I think is, we all agree that kids need their education. And so if this helps alleviate the opportunity for them to participate in their educational system, then man, so be it.
Right. And also, I mean, we have free lunch for kids because we know kids can't study without eating. Right?
Yes, exactly.
So if they're afraid to come to school because their clothes smell, I mean, that's just as a problem as no food. Yeah, and so you're solving that problem.
Yes,
well,
but that is, that is the reality of it.
So really, anybody can go to your website, and you got a little packet that, you get the flyers, you get the everything to have somebody want to do in their neighborhood, get the Girl Scouts involved, get your teen club, get your bowling league, your golf buddies, or whatever the hell it is. Now, could you imagine talking golf with the people, homeless people at the shelter? But that'd be wonderful. They'd be curious about that.
No, absolutely. I mean, literally, you go to laundrylove.org is the best portal, laundrylove.org, and there's a laundry box. It has door hangers, it has posters, it has stickers for the laundromat, so that people know it's a Laundry Love laundromat. Right. It's just all the starter box to get any group going in their location, in their neighborhood or city or town.
Oh, it's a wonderful idea, and I'm so glad that you're alive to be brilliant enough to think of Laundry Love. I wish I had that name myself. I think it's a wonderful name, and that you're sharing it with everybody else. And thank you for your work, Greg. It's wonderful that we're doing it, and you're an inspiration to other people. If it's not this, you could do something, right? You did this with no money and just started it, right? So,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it. And I'll just say this. There's this motto that I live by. A life interrupted is a life inspired. And if you can allow your life to be interrupted by another human being and listen to their story, I think inspiration is sustainable from that point on. And this is the story of Laundry Love. Every Laundry Love around the U.S., almost 500,000 loads of laundry done, over 150 Laundry Loves that have happened since inception. The thing of the beauty of it is based on that, Matthew. You're absolutely
but then doing a Laundry Love is the best way to figure out if what I'm doing with my life normally is worthwhile. It's like going to another country. You're going to figure out about your own life more than you will helping somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Craig. And so that's laundrylove.org. Is that right? .org. Okay, laundrylove.org, right? And you got to go there, at least see the videos, because wonderful. You want to see T-Bone. T-Bone's a star.
That's right.
He's wonderful. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Well, maybe by now you've heard something called Airbnb. This is where people all over the country are renting out their apartments they don't use or rooms they don't use to travelers all over the world. Yep, and it's a great deal because then people get something closer to home to live in and not a big bureaucracy of hotels and things like that. But more importantly, this company that manages the website where you could put what you have available for people to use on the website, they are now worth like 10 to 20 billion dollars. That's right. This is taking off so much. Everybody's worried about them. The local officials are fighting them in some cities and states because they don't pay taxes, hotel tax, because they're not a hotel. They're just an exchange of someone has a house, a room they could use, and somebody's looking for a room when they go to New York or wherever it is. But it's just a boom, and it seems like we're the country. Man, I mean, it went from nothing just a few years ago to now worth 10 to 20 billion dollars. Hyatt hotels, they're only worth $10 billion. And listen to this, Hyatt Hotel is worth about $10 billion. Airbnb is $10 billion, and now they think it's maybe 20 because this is a valuation about 4 or 5 months ago, and it's going so fast. But Airbnb has about 500 or 600 employees. Hyatt Hotels has like 45,000 employees. So the same value of the company has a fraction of the employees. So as we're growing these new industries, man, they're not employing like the old industries used to do. So that's why you have to learn for opportunities. And this guy did it. See, he lives in Japan, in Tokyo, and he was using his apartment as Airbnb. He said he had strangers. He was the most popular thing on Airbnb in Tokyo. He had 200 people stay in his living room for the last 2 years. And he got an idea about his own little thing to help people who are travelers. Because he was giving so much advice to people come to Tokyo. He was saying, hey, no, don't go to this restaurant, go here, and here's a special thing. You could learn how to sword fight. This guy I know gives a class on sword fighting. You want to do that? Or, hey, I know a guy or a girl, whatever, who's a transsexual who'll take you on a nightclub tour of transsexual clubs in Tokyo. Wow, you're never going to find that at the Hilton or the Hyatt or anywhere else. So he started a website doing this. Unusual activities to do in like 9 countries out in the east, or India, Indonesia, Nepal, all these great things. So you're like an insider. That's what he was giving advice to his people who stayed on this Airbnb in his room. He was showing them inside. Like, people come to Washington, D.C. Man, I don't go see the Washington Monument. I'll show you like the reading room of the Library of Congress. That is cool. And I've been living here 20 years. I know where the neat stuff is. You come here yourself, you're going to see the same 12 things everybody else does, and not the cool stuff. So he started a website that does this, and it's neat. And all he does is build a website, and learn how to market it on the webs. So start learning where you're going to create your own jobs like this, because the new Hyatts and everything like that, they're not hiring. So learn how to use the current system, the new system. It's a system for the future that's already here. Well, Masashi Takahashi. Boy, I hope I said that right. but you got one of the neatest travel opportunities in the world. You're at Go Voyagin. So that's GOVOYAGIN.com. And you're giving like unusual tours for people in like 9 different places in Asia. So if you're going to any of these countries, you'll hook people up with like individual, personalized, friendly, you get a friend almost in that city to give you an unusual experience that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, some of the things that you say, you get, I mean, you're not going to get it from the tour guide or anywhere else. And at a reasonable price. I mean, a lot of these tours now are so overpriced to me that you get, things like sword fighting. Learn how to sword fight. Like in Japan, or you have one of the tours that you go on a nightclub, scene with a transsexual, and how they live in that city. I mean, just neat stuff you can't get anywhere else. So, what made you think of this business? It's terrific.
Oh yes. I used to be the Airbnb first, and then yes, and then I had over 200 tourists in my living room.
200 people. So another, where you live in Tokyo, you had 200 people over the course of a year or two staying with you through Airbnb. That's the place where you don't have to pay an expensive hotel. You come to live with someone like Masashi, right? And you live at his place,
And then they always ask me what should I do, or asking me my recommendations. So
I see.
So that's I saw the Airbnb connecting the locals through the accommodation, and then I realized that if they have the friends in the tour destination, so that's their tour will be the once in a life experience. So
I see, right.
I'd like to connect in the local and tourist.
Well, it's why, I mean, Airbnb is sort of like that too. I mean, I see I'm starting to travel now more and overseas, and looking at a big hotel versus someone's private, apartment they have available, or room, or whatever it is. And first of all, it's a fraction of the hotel room. Plus, I get a local person that becomes my friend in that city instead of the concierge at the hotel who's trying to make money by sending me someplace, right? But to me, what's important, I learn how the people in that city live, not how the tourist lives, and that seems to me more enjoyable in traveling in any city, is to learn how the people there live. And that's the experience you're giving, right? In these special tours, Yeah. So what countries are you in now, or cities?
So right now we have the Japan, India, Taipei, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Thailand, Indonesia,
Wow.
Singapore,
Wow. So even Indonesia and Nepal, I mean, they sound like exotic, places to have a nice tourist vacation without feeling like a tourist. Right? So that's the key. And so you go around checking out these small little entrepreneurs that offering the service. You travel around a lot in the world and check them out personally. So you make sure, and actually the transaction is made through you. So it's not somebody that nobody knows or anything. We could always find you. And you're checking out all these people for us, aren't you?
Yes. We checking out the screening for you.
Yeah.
So that's you don't feel worried about the locals. We qualify the locals, so that's the qualified local.
I could go on the internet and find anything, somebody give me, cooking lessons in, India or something like that. And who knows if they're just going to rip me off with my money or whatever. But if I go through you, then it's usually going to be some small, entrepreneur who gives a very good service doing this. And it's very personalized, and it's not a big corporation. And so you specialize in the individual kind of entrepreneurs, don't you? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So before they are mostly their jobs coming from the big tour agency. So
Right.
that's it's a little bit hard to get the customer from them. But we are
Right.
giving that tour to them to self
Ah.
promotion. Yeah.
So,
So
so
that's
the
more
little
variety.
guy, yeah. So it makes sense. You're hooking up people. This is like a peer to peer. So
Yeah.
there's an individual tourist like me doesn't want to spend a lot of money on stuff, and you have an individual little operator who has a fun little service or something that doesn't want to spend a lot of money advertising to get customers, and you do all the stuff in the middle to get this nice, friendly person in the country to take care of me. And I need taken care of, so that's wonderful. So what are some of the exotic things that you would even be interested in taking advantage of that is on your site? You know what I mean?
Okay. I actually for me, I wanted to have in Indonesia we have the meet local shaman and get the fortune telling.
Oh, you a shaman give your
Yes.
fortune telling, really? In Indonesia, a
Yeah.
shaman? Wow.
It's really hard to meet the local shaman, but the local know the shaman.
I see. So
Yeah.
the
So
tourists will never find this person. They're going to the shaman at the hotel.
no hotel conscious know the shaman.
Right, exactly. So you found this little, and did you have your fortune told?
Actually, no, but
No.
our staff had
Had your fortune
yeah.
told. I would see. Well, that's wonderful. So now, what's your favorite of all the countries you cover? What are some of your more favorite countries you like going to?
See. Yep. For,
Tokyo.
for, yeah, Tokyo is interesting. Yeah, even me interesting. I haven't go to small stable until 30, but when I started this business, I finally first go to the small stable. Yeah,
I
that's
see.
interesting. Yeah.
So you're finding stuff in Tokyo even for yourself that you didn't even know about.
Yeah. I haven't
Wow.
yeah.
Well, that must be. I mean, Tokyo. What is that? The second or third largest city in the world? I forget now. But you're really up there in the number of cities. So there must be so much that even people in Tokyo don't know about.
Yes.
And you're letting them know about all this stuff,
It's
right?
kind of the we all of us know the small stable, but haven't the chance to go there.
I
No
see.
chance to. Yeah.
Well, it's like me. Yeah, when people, I live in Washington, D.C., when people come to Washington, oh, I always wanted to do that. So I'll take my friends to do something I really wanted to do. And as opposed to the tourist traps downtown Washington or whatever. So now the service works. I go on your website and I choose the city I want to travel in. And then there'll be maybe 10 programs there or 50 activities or whatever. And I look through the activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, then I start talking directly with the person providing the service, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. And so then I pay you, and
Yep.
then it seems like
Just for the meeting price. That's it.
I see, right. And then I make connection with the other person, and everything's arranged, and they take care of me when I get there. You said they pick me up at the airport and everything?
Taking the airport that depends. But
I see. It depends on the
ask.
service. Yeah, right. You could can't hurt to ask. They're your friend now, so it's okay to ask, right? Oh, that's wonderful. So in a year now, it seems like you went from just Tokyo to like 9, 10 cities already. So this is a booming business for you, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So people, if I was in one of these cities and I had a little service, I think what tourists would be interested in. So it would behoove me to contact you and let you know about this service, because then if you put it on your site, I get customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. Well, it's a great thing you're doing, and I think it's going to, because I think tourism will increase if we could meet real people in
Yeah.
these cities, when you get to just meet the people who want your money all the time in the hotels and the big restaurants, and you don't get a sense of what life is like. But you're introducing us to real people in those cities,
Yes,
aren't you?
so I don't like the outsider tour. So I
Yeah.
want to be the insider while I was traveling. So I wanted to offer that kind of the service through
So
voyaging.
you're making everybody who travels now an insider, no
Yeah.
matter what city they go to, right? So I'll be an insider in Indonesia or India or Japan or anywhere, and I won't be able to speak a word, but these people speak English, and they'll make me an insider, right?
Yep.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for having this service, and it's Go Voyagin, GOVOYAGIN.com, and find
you.
out what you're missing in the world. Thank you again.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Bye.